Yo guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Happily Whatever After. मैं इंट्रोडक्शन में ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लूँगा क्योंकि लास्ट एपिसोड हमने एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन पे एंड किया था जो कि इनफिडेलिटी के बारे में था. आइए जानते हैं आगे.
Dealing with the issue of infidelity or loss of trust in a relationship is always a tough one. It's challenging. And it is challenging, the dynamics, cheating in any form can disrupt the dynamics of everyone, the whole family, So it's challenging for everyone, including the therapist.
Yeah.
Because see what happens that your of course violation of trust, that love, it kind of damages the relationship, and a lot of times people decide, of course, at that time, that I don't want to stay with this person, right?
Mhm.
But a lot of times couple do decide to take the tough road to, getting out of it and rebuilding their relationship, which is extremely challenging and tough also for all of both of them, right? So again, it can be done with a lot of time, effort, and all. It's not easy to rebuild a trust, and this is a very, I mean, this is happening more and more now, right? Because like we said, ease of gadgets, ease of that privacy. You're in office and you have an office wife, you have an office husband, it's like that you're sharing all your emotion, you're connecting emotionally to somebody. So yes, coming this issue is burning. But yes, when they come to me like for therapy, I would give you that perspective. When they come to me with this issue, that gives me, even though it's challenging, it kind of gives me hope, a positive feeling that yes, since if they have come to therapy, it means they want to work on their relationship.
Yeah.
There is some kind of bond which is still there and stronger than what happened, right?
Mm.
and and emotions are really intense, and definitely both are very, they're devastated and very vulnerable at this point, right? So I need to tread even more carefully, gently and sensitively in this situation. And then of course I ask them to share their of course, concerns, right? So the person who has been cheated, one probably don't want to speak, and that's okay. We need to give them time, because we know that they're hurting badly, right? It's painful. So it's okay. We'll allow them, give them time, as much time as they need. So the other person would speak, right?
Mm.
So that what has happened exactly. Then I try to find out how was the marriage before this happened, right? So there has to be a why, right?
Mm.
Why did it happen? So there has to be a cause. Something, there must be some underlying issues. So try to find out those underlying issues. That like I had discussed earlier, that what is it that if there is poor communication, you're not able to express your needs and desires, you're not able to, whether they're physical intimacy or even about your sexual intimacy or what you need in a relationship, you're not able to convey your partner, or there's some unresolved conflict you're not able to talk about, then you kind of need and look for it outside. You need an escape mechanism, right? Look for that comfort elsewhere, because there are feelings of neglect. Then again, like you said, there is emotional disconnect, that a lot of people are chatting on the phone, or sharing their all their what they're feeling with somebody else,
Mm.
right? Because that is not happening in the relationship. So
Mm.
again, feeling of neglect, feeling of being rejected, not being part of your life, feeling like an outsider, right? So they are looking for that, seeking that affection
Mm.
outside,
Mm.
that understanding outside, right? So again, a lot of, like I had said, when you're crossing that boundary, they're not respecting that boundary. So there are a lot of underlying issues when you're not able to, again, I mean, you have an issue with yourself, maybe low self esteem, and somebody is giving you attention.
Hmm.
Somebody is finding you attractive. So you really like the attention.
Mm.
That could also be a reason
Mm.
to be drawn to somebody.
Hmm.
Mm.
And then if you're not dealing with your relationship issues in your marriage, they're still, unaddressed, then you feel that nothing is happening in my life. I mean, so just to get away from that, it's an escape mechanism, again, a coping mechanism.
Hmm.
That okay, my life is in a rut. Nothing is going right in the, with us.
Mm.
There is no love left now. So again, both the partners feel as if that there is a loss, right? So what are the underlying issues? We need to understand that.
Mm.
And definitely that time, I mean, we know that the person who has betrayed or who has cheated is also very vulnerable, feeling embarrassed or ashamed or guilty, right, at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So it's not that only one person is, and the person who has been betrayed is feeling definitely hurt, pained, then a lot of confusion in or his mind that why it happened. Is
Mm.
something wrong
Hmm.
with me? Is
Mm.
I
there,
was, yeah, just coming to
ah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, what is wrong with me? Have I not done enough in the relationship?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So many unanswered questions in the person's mind, right? So that is definitely a difficult one. But if they have come, so I am assuming, I feel that yes, it's positive, that it means that they're going to work. So of course I need to tell them, yes, when we talk about these underlying issues, that yes, or it is possible
Hmm.
get over these. But I just tell them, especially to the person who has been betrayed, that to take practice pause at this time.
Mm.
Because when our emotions are high, or I always say this, whenever we have undergoing severe emotions, don't take any important decisions in life, because at that time you're not that, your judgment gets clouded. It's like when there's muddy water, so you let it be and the mud settles down, and then you have clear water, you can see your reflection also in it.
Mm.
Similarly, when your emotions are running high, there's so much of confusion going in your mind. That time you're not able to think rationally.
Yeah.
So you just stay with, even though they're very uncomfortable feelings, you need to just stay with those feelings, make space for them. When we make space and acknowledge those feelings, the intensity of those emotions go down.
Hmm.
And that is the time, probably, then you will have some rationality to think whether do I need to give him a second chance, whether do I need to, I don't want to stay with this person, or whether I need to just let me try at least.
Mm.
So that time, it is like they need that time. Proper emotional processing is required,
Mm.
because either if you're in denial, you suppress your emotions. Denying them, suppressing them will not help, because they'll keep on coming back to you again and again. So at that time, even though it's difficult, we need to process both of their emotions, which can be tough and daunting also,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because these are heavy emotions. But
Yeah.
then we have to deal with it softly, gently, and one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, assuring them, yes, it can happen.
Yes.
It is tough, but not undoable. Of course, with full commitment from both of them that yes, it is an uphill task, and we are ready to. And especially
Hmm.
the one who's cheated needs to be very sincere, honest,
Yeah. Yeah.
full of remorse, and know that yes, it's an uphill task. I'm ready to do it. And
Mm.
then I generally ask, you can ask the other person only, what can I do for you?
Mm.
Again and again, to gain back that trust. But yes, there are things again that are little uh, tips you can say to deal with such situations for couples to get back on their road to trusting again? Again, like one thing I said about taking a pause, not make a decision instantly,
Hmm.
just let your feelings settle down a little.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then again, therapy can help a lot,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because therapy is providing you with a very neutral, safe space
Hmm.
where you can talk about your feelings,
Mm,
what you're thinking,
mm,
and you're, out in the open without being judged,
mm,
without confidentiality being breached,
yeah.
right? And probably your expectations, or your planning for way forward, or you probably need some time out alone. That's okay to
Mm,
think about it. That's also fine. Absolutely. You need to take some time to yourself to think about it, right? But therapy can provide that safe space
mm,
for discussion,
Hmm.
right? Then open communication is very necessary at this point, where you can talk to each other about even the details of the affair or whatever kind of cheating that you've indulged in.
mm,
It's
Yeah.
a painful, but you need to talk openly about it,
Yeah.
isn't it?
mm,
That whatever has happened, how it's impacting each other.
mm,
Dealing with the underlying issue is the toughest one,
mm,
because unless
Identifying also.
identifying we are doing in the therapy, right? Therapy is
Yeah.
helping you in identifying those issues.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, working on them together, accepting those issues, and then obviously working upon them,
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Making that effort, that whatever, how to improve. And again, communication skills, learning effective communication skills, effective conflict resolution skills, everything is required. Then
Yeah.
slowly, and then rebuilding that trust again will take time,
Mm,
Hmm.
isn't it? By doing, again, doing things again, starting from scratch. It is like starting
Yeah.
from scratch. So it is not easy, but it is done. It can be done. It's like creating again new future goals,
mm,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah.
That how to reconnect,
Mm,
how to bring that spark back,
mm,
what to do, how to do things together, creating common hobbies or goals or whatever.
mm,
So it's an uphill task, but definitely it can be done.
Yeah.
And one of the, I think, most important one is the act of forgiveness.
mm.
Yeah. I
That's,
think the
I
toughest.
think the toughest and the most important part is the act of forgiveness. I believe that
Yeah,
once you forgive, it's not about forgiving your partner, it's also about forgiving yourself, because there is a lot of harm that in this process, or when you go through infidelity, you're really going through so much of emotional turmoil in your own life that this is the most important task. Yes, I mean,
absolutely. And forgiving doesn't mean
yeah,
forgetting the act. It
Yeah.
is just, it means releasing the pain, like you said, Karan.
yeah,
Because it is, I mean, definitely, uh, you have learned the lessons. I
mm,
mean, definitely, we need to keep those lessons alive in our mind from that incident.
yeah,
And that's how you can build on those, and keeping that in mind, that how to move forward,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
isn't it? But forgiving for that peace inside.
Mm,
Then having compassion for self, like I said, the person who has undergone cheating or been betrayed, that somehow they feel that the self blaming also happens a lot.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
Their,
that self compassion is really required.
yeah. Their self-esteem takes a lot of hit.
Yes,
Like
yes,
you said, that what did I do wrong that it turned out
absolutely.
to be this way?
Yes,
I think when we're talking about it, it is we're talking about infidelity of partners, but then I think just sharing my personal thoughts, because what is interesting, Seema, right now is when we are discussing, I immediately went back to the whole process of getting into the guilt and getting into how this also happens with parents, right? This also happens with, like, what happened with me and my family and how they treated me was also one of the reasons that our relationship got It was third person. It was not that Shoki and me had a problem. Whatever we have gone through in our relationship, I personally believe that that was for the third person breaking the trust. And I was not able to understand that what am I going through? Why am I the person I am back then when I was in depression? So to make it more simpler, it's like I was not able to forgive my own self because I was like, "Ki, I have done everything for my family. I have given everything to them." It became like a blame game in my heart, and I was, not able to give 100% in my relationship with Shoki. So that, whole problem that also happens, I believe, in a set of couple.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So again, that is the thing, boundaries. How much are we going to allow the external influences to
Yes.
affect our relationship,
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
it's family or friends?
Yeah.
That again is a boundary. Certain unspoken, certain ground rules also we need to
Mhm.
kind of set in a relationship,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
that helps.
Yeah. So I think that brings me to, very interesting question in terms of therapy itself, Seema, that you have very nicely explained the process of communication to infidelity. I think our listeners are going to be really happy about a lot of misconceptions that they have in mind
Yes.
about therapy, because on Instagram, we keep on getting that, "Ki, please help us. We are going through this." And most of the time, I personally believe that these are either supposed to get married, or they have just got married and they are been in the relationship for a year or two. Now things have started turning across, not in the right way for them. So they keep on asking these questions, and with your help, I think we will be able to give them a way to think about therapy, that how therapy helps you out. But one question still remains, that a lot of time people have this shame, embarrassment in going for a therapy, and they also sometimes feel that, obviously, in Indian society, therapy is still in stigma to it. What is your thought on that? If you may want to give some light on it, still people are not ready to go for it.
Yeah, but the, still better than before. I'm saying a lot of awareness has set in. And I see that definitely earlier it was like a taboo, not talk
Mm.
about, like, don't talk about sex and don't talk about mental health. It was like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
True.
yeah.
True.
True,
So,
true.
yes, even on the sex part, people are more open now because of definitely
Hmm,
your internet, more exposure to the whole world around. And even mental health, I think it has improved definitely from that earlier stand. Now, what I see is the youngsters, the younger generation is very receptive.
hmm,
Mm.
hmm,
Even the age group, we would say, even the 17, 18, 19, they will just, because there's a lot of ease now,
hmm,
just search for a therapist in your
Yeah.
area, read the reviews and book an appointment, call them. And now everybody is generally financially okay. Even the children are getting pocket money, so they can, utilize that. So so many times youngsters come 18, 19 without their parents knowing, and they would say, I feel something is not right. Something is not right with me. So I said, okay, what about your parents? No, I told them, they said, ये क्या होता है? कुछ नहीं होता, you're all right. Sometimes parents fail to understand. But now the youngsters are very much aware.
hmm.
So I'm really happy to see that they know this can help me.
Mm.
Yeah.
And even the younger, you would say young adults, till the age of 35, 40, they're also very receptive from
Hmm,
like this 17, 18 to 35, 40. They have no hang-ups about therapy
Mm.
because
hmm,
there's a lot of awareness. I see even couples coming, for it's not, and right now in schools also a counselor is mandatory, in
hmm,
colleges also, even in organizations they
hmm,
keep a counselor in most of the organizations. So I think it is improving, but definitely much more needs to happen. I would say it's not a stigma, again it's a mindset, like we had
Mm.
discussed. When we have suppose I suffering from diabetes, So how we need to monitor our diabetes? I'm going to a doctor, or I have a BP issue, so I'm going to a doctor, or I am training for a marathon, so I'm keeping a physical trainer for exercising and improving my physical health. But why then not being forthcoming about? Don't we need to take care of our emotional, mental health? Who's going to do that for us? So, I mean, there needs to be no stigma about it. I understand that it's been going on, but now we need to create more awareness. And thanks to people like you who are, if you have going so through word of mouth or through, telling others, see, hey, it helped us and it can help you also. That
Yeah.
is required. And even if it is done earlier, even in schools, the importance of mental health, exercise karni hai and all, everybody says, but what about your mental health, emotional health, right? So I think this awareness needs to be created, and it is improved, but still much more needs to happen. And we, as we see that there is always mind and body connection. So unless, even if I keep myself physically fit, but I'm too anxious, if I'm getting overwhelmed when I'm having panic attacks, how can you be overall healthy? How can you deal with navigate through life's challenges? So you need to develop those coping skills, healthy coping skills to deal with the challenges of life.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So coming to the last part of our long discussion on therapy, there was also something very beautiful you told me last time we spoke, that some people just decide in the very first go ki, oh, therapy is not for us. So you had given me this example that it's not one size fits all for everyone. So can you also elaborate that for our audiences, that how it's not necessary कि तुम एक therapist के पास जाओ और बस अब नहीं हो पाएगा ऐसे decide कर लो. So how you can you can have an open mind and go to different people.
Yeah, because see what happens in therapy. See, like I had said, first of all, every therapist has a counselor or a psychologist have their different styles of interacting with their clients. Book is absolutely different. If you, and even cultural wise, if you look at, I mean, people in the West, the kind of sessions, like you said, on the sofa and very stern, strict, and just cut to cut, that doesn't work in our culture, right? We need to be warm, connecting, talking, and all. So even with that, the most important thing that matters in a therapy is the relationship between the client and the therapist or psychologist in the first session. So it is like, when the client is coming, they're very vulnerable. They're probably scared, lot of fears, lot of apprehension. They're coming for the first time. Kaise hoga, kya hoga? Whether the client is going to, the therapist is going to judge me, whether it will be confidential, whether I'll feel embarrassed. How can I share all my innermost, feelings or my apprehensions with the third person? So again, so first session is all about building that trust, that rapport. We call it a therapeutic alliance. So that decides your future prognosis or future course of therapy. So in that time, when the client comes to me, if you remember, Karan, even I would always assure them that, see, this is a safe space.
Correct.
Everything we talk about is going to be absolutely confidential, and you're not going to be judged for anything I say, you say. You're not going to be judged. So please feel free to share. And even if you're feeling uncomfortable, I assure you, I'll try to make you feel as comfortable as possible. And at any point of time you have any questions to ask me, please feel free to ask. So it's a lot of warmth, genuineness that has to come across from the therapist to the client. For the client to trust the therapist enough to share their innermost, you know, secrets or what is troubling them. It's not easy for the client also.
Yeah.
Then the client and the therapist needs to be very genuine. And that time, 1 hour is totally for the client. I would not even look away from the client even for a minute, mobile side mein hai sab kuch. Because that time, if I don't listen, the client should not feel I'm not interested.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So many times I have seen clients coming and saying they have taken therapy earlier. So I said, Acha, what did you do? I just went for the first session. I didn't come back. I go back. I said, why? I was just telling about the relationship that I was having with a boyfriend. And the person was just doing something on the computer, not even looking at me, and said, okay, get rid of your boyfriend.
Wow.
Wow,
I mean, so
that's
I mean,
that's really sad,
these
but yeah.
are like different people come and tell me. I wouldn't know, right?
Yeah.
So again, people don't feel that they are important enough for the other person to be heard.
Hmm.
So at that point, I need to make the client feel you are the only one that matters to me right now. You are the priority.
Hmm.
And I need to put myself in their frame of reference. I need to empathize with them, because
Hmm.
a lot of times clients will say chota sa problem hai, what will you think? I said, no, if it is troubling you, it is not small,
Hmm.
then it is very big.
Hmm.
We need to tackle it.
Yeah.
No issue is small. So I
Hmm.
need to put myself in their shoes or their frame of reference, that how are they must be feeling at this time,
Correct.
Yeah.
and
True.
in what best way I can be of assistance or help them in some way. So first session, that actually that rapport is very, very important.
Hmm.
At least to break that first session, the client should feel in the end, towards the end, okay, now it wasn't that bad, I
Hmm.
can come for a second session.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your relationship will get better eventually with subsequent sessions. Then you trust the therapist more to, you know, be forthcoming about your own issues more on a deeper level. Because unless the client is very honest about their issues, a therapist cannot guide them or help
Yeah.
them,
True.
Hmm.
True.
True. True.
isn't it? So that's why I said one size doesn't fit all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, you have to try. If one therapist doesn't work for you, doesn't mean that therapy won't work for you.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
It's like a professor. There are so many different professors teaching you different subjects, but why do you feel this particular professor is so good? I understand everything the professor is teaching. And one professor will say, कुछ भी समझ नहीं आता what they see. Self study करना पड़ेगा ज़रा.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
like that. So it all depends on the connection you have, and the skills of the counselor. Therapist also matters a lot.
Hmm.
So that is why it's very important to, have that relationship.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
So I think a beautiful episode and a discussion that was much needed because uh, we personally believe, and I personally believe the today whoever I have become, I think, Seema, I just spoke to her in the morning today that I was watching my a year back podcast when I started therapy with you. Possibly, I was there with antidepressants going on, and today when I saw because I was editing, the audio of the podcast, and I was also seeing the videos which we have shot on YouTube. We also are going on YouTube live, so I could see the change, and I was discussing with her that key show, I could personally feel that whole transition of my journey because the dark circles, the glow on my face, it was like suppressed into a small face, but right now I'm able to communicate better. I'm able to see things better, and personally, from the bottom of my heart, at least, and from both of us,
yeah,
thank you
both of
so
us.
much, Seema, that you have come here and you have helped us, and our listeners are also going to benefit from what you have given to us. So thank you so much, Seema. Thank you.
Been my honor to come here, and definitely I have seen you grow, Karan, from what you were to what you are now, and definitely your relationship also. And one thing I would just like to say to all the couples also, that I always tell you, I told you to also, right,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
when you are in a professional relationship and you have a client who's a little irritable, right, how do you deal with that client with so much of patience, because you feel that client is so valuable to our organization, right? and all the patience and all the politeness, and you'll try all the communication and negotiation skills. But when it comes to your partner, we forget all that, right? So you need to just think of your partner as your most important and valuable client and your best friend.
Yeah.
That you can, I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Who is going, that's the closest relationship I think that would, I mean, you both can have a beautiful life together. So don't leave any stone unturned. Do everything you can to resolve the conflicts. Just try everything that is possible.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say. Don't give up on the relationship so easy.
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, I was just going to ask
Ask the last
that.
words of wisdom, and I think
Yes,
you have
you've already given us
already
that.
given us that.
Without asking.
See, guys, this is what happens. You and your therapist are so much on the same frequency. They can read your mind. Your partner cannot read your mind, but your therapist will be able to do that.
Yes.
But jokes apart, thank you so much, Seema.
Okay, guys, so thank you so much for listening to us, and thank you, Seema, for coming on this episode and giving your words of wisdom and helping us out to where we are today. I hope you guys have liked this episode. I hope you have enjoyed each and every bit of this episode, because this was, I think, personal. I think personally a very going to be a very important episode
Yes,
for both
yes.
of us.
And we wanted to also tell you guys that Seema is a very senior therapist with 12 plus years of experience in therapy and couples therapy both. So we'll be leaving her contact details in the description below so that you can get in touch with her as and when needed. You can also reach out to us in case you have an issue reaching out to her, and we will put you in touch directly.
Seema. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next week. Please do like, share, and subscribe. We are also available on YouTube now. So
Don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you get notified every time we release a new episode. And signing off for today. Thank you so much, Seema, once again.
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you so much, Shoki and Karan. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you.